Good morning, class. So last week we read a lot of books and poems that had a lot of rhyming words in them. So today we're going to read a book and I'm going to teach you how using rhyming words can help you make predictions and how knowing the sounds that letters make can help you be a great reader. So today we're going to read Silly Sally by Audrey Wood. Silly Sally went to town, walking backwards upside down. See, we have a highlighted word here, walking, so it must be important. Maybe we can clap the syllables of walking together. Walking. And we see walking ends in I-N-G. On the way she met a pig, a silly pig. They danced a jig. Can anyone see what pig and jig have in common? Sarah?
I think they both have I-G at the end of it.
Now, can you think of maybe a letter we can add to I-G in front of I-G to make another word? Can you think of a letter?
I think maybe if you put a B in front of it.
So a B says B, so that would give us big.
Oh, good.
And what if we added a W? Then we would have wig.
Wig.
So because we know pig and we know jig, we can know big and we can know wig. Silly Sally went to town, dancing backwards upside down. There's another highlighted word. Let's clap its syllables. Dancing. So dancing and walking both have two syllables. They both end in I-N-G. On the way she met a dog, a silly dog. They played leapfrog. Do you know what letter dog starts with?
D?
Yeah, D. And D says duh. Good job. Silly Sally went to town, leaping backwards upside
down?
Yeah, down. And what letter does down start with?
D.
D. Yep, it starts with D, just like dog. It says duh, duh. We have another highlighted word. Let's clap its syllables. Leaping. And it also ends in I-N-G. On the way, she met a loon, a silly loon. They sang a tune. Silly Sally went to town, singing backwards upside down. Good job, Sarah. Now let's clap singing. Singing. And like all the other words, it still ends in I-N-G. On the way, she met a sheep, a silly sheep. They fell asleep. Let's see. Yep, you're right. Now, how did Sally get to
town?
Yep. Sleeping backwards upside down. Along came Nettie Buttercup, walking forwards, right side up. He tickled the pig who danced a jig. He tickled the dog who played leapfrog. He tickled the loon who sang a tune. He tickled the sheep who fell asleep. Yep. He tickled Sally who woke right up. She tickled Nettie Buttercup. And that's how Sally got to town, walking backwards upside
down.
Good job.
So last week we learned about how to make mind movies when we read books. So what we were doing was you guys would close your eyes and I would be reading the book, and then your job was to picture what you thought the author wanted you to be thinking about while we were reading. And that's a very important lesson as a little learner and new readers. But today we're going to be learning how to ask questions and making connections when we read books. Okay, so when I read this book to you, it's called Nana in the City. When I read this book to you, what I need you guys to do is be thinking of a question. And every time you think about a question, I need you to wiggle your little pinky finger. And then you can ask a question before, during, or after. And every time you have a question, we'll stop and we'll talk about it. And then the second thing I want you to focus on is making connection with your own world. So If you have a connection that you think of whenever I'm reading this to you, then stop. We'll stop. You make a C with your hand, and then we'll talk about the connection that you've made. Okay? Okay, so the book we're reading today is Nana in the City by Lauren Castillo. I went to stay with my Nana in her new apartment in the city. I love my Nana, but I don't love the city. Has anybody ever been on a subway before?
No, what's a subway?
I've been on one, and they're a little scary. Maybe that's why he doesn't really like the city. The subway is an underground transportation system, so it looks like they're going to have to get on the subway to go to her apartment. Maybe that's why he's a little scared. The city is busy. The city is loud. What's your connection?
One time, me and my family, we went to Indianapolis and we got to walk around the city.
Oh my gosh, so did the city look kind of like the picture in this book?
Mm-hmm. There was lots of big buildings.
That's perfect. Well, let's read more and see if there's more pictures about the city, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The city is filled with scary things. It is no place for a Nana to live. But Nana says the city is wonderful, bustling, booming, and extraordinary. She says it is the perfect place for a Nana to live. At night, the room rumbles and shakes. There is no sleeping here. Do you have a question?
Mm-hmm. Why is his room shaking?
I'm not sure. It looks like maybe outside his window he can see a train. Do you see that? Do you see the train?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he can't sleep. Maybe the train's keeping him awake. I don't know. Nana, aren't you afraid in the city? It is busy, loud, and filled with scary things. Nana gave me a kiss, tucked my blanket in nice and tight. Tomorrow, she said, I will show you how wonderful the city is. What's your next question?
What's Nana making?
This red thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looks like she's trying to knit something. Maybe a scarf or a blanket. Mm-hmm. Let's read on and see if they tell us, okay?
Okay.
When I woke up in the morning, Nana was holding a fancy red cape. It looks like she was making a cape for him. For you to wear on our walk today, she said. You'll see that the city is not scary at all. I felt brave in my cape. We got ready and left the apartment. The city was busy. The city was loud. But Nana was right. The city was not filled with scary things. The city was filled with extraordinary things. There was so much for a Nana to do in this city. When it was time to leave, I wrapped Nana in my cape. This will keep you brave, I tell her. The city is busy, the city is loud, and the city is an absolute perfect place for a Nana to live. And for me to visit. You have a question after the end of the book? What is that?
So did he change his mind and he's not scared of the city anymore?
I think he did. I think when the Nana took him around, he got all brave because of the cape. And that's why he left the cape for her. Because that way, when she wears the cape, she'll be brave just like him.
Oh.
Thank you so much for sharing.